You sit down to work, you have the best intentions, you know what needs to get done, and then somehow an hour passes, the task is half finished, you have scrolled through Instagram twice, you replied to messages you didn't need to reply to right now, you watch something you don't even remember watching, and you feel simultaneously exhausted and like you have done absolutely nothing. And then you tell yourself you're lazy. But I want you to know that you are probably not lazy, but you're distracted. And there is a massive difference between being lazy and being distracted. We are living in a world that is specifically engineered to steal your attention. Every notification, every app, everything is designed by some of the smartest, most well-funded teams on this planet with one single goal: to keep you scrolling for as long as possible. This is not an accident. This is a billion-dollar industry built around capturing exactly the thing you're trying to protect, which is your focus. So when you pick up your phone in the middle of work without even deciding to, this is not weakness. This is you up against a machine that has been optimized for years to win the exact moment. You're trying to fight it with willpower alone. But willpower is not enough. You need a different strategy. You need to put your phone in another room. That's the strategy. And you have probably heard this before. Maybe you have even tried it once or twice, but you're still not doing it consistently because it just sounds too simple to actually be the answer to why you feel like you cannot get a proper job done. You sit for long hours, completely overstimulated and distracted. But this is the answer. Just put your phone in another room and you will see the difference. Listen, when your phone is on your desk, even when you're not touching it, even when it is face down, even when it is on silent, your brain knows your phone is there. And it is quietly using energy to resist it in the background. Just imagine like an app you forgot to close that is draining your battery without you realizing. There are actual studies on it, and this is very interesting. Researchers found that the simple presence of a smartphone on a desk, not in your hand, not being used, just sitting there on your desk, measurably reduces your cognitive capacity. So your ability to think clearly, focus deeply, and solve problems is lower just because the phone is visible. And then there is the switching cost. Also very interesting. Every time you pick up your phone mid-task, even for 30 seconds, even just to check one message, it takes your brain an average of 23 minutes to return to the same level of deep focus it was at before. 23 minutes for a 30-second distraction. So if you're picking up your phone 5 or let's say 6 times during a work session, you're essentially never in deep focus at all. When I started running my business, I thought I was multitasking, and that's normal. I was at my desk, I was working, I was busy, but my phone was right there next to my laptop, and here's what my actual work session looked like. Open document, write 2 sentences, phone buzzes, check message, replay, then open Instagram, scroll for 4 minutes, put phone down, back to document, forget what I was writing, reread everything, write 1 sentence, phone lights up again, check it, it was nothing, open a new tab, do some online shopping, back to the document, and hours have passed and I've only written half a page. At the end of the day, I was exhausted and behind at the same time because I couldn't fully focus on work because my phone kept pulling me out, and at the same time, I couldn't even enjoy the scrolling because in the back of my mind, the unfinished work was always there, making me feel guilty. Everything was getting 50% of me, which meant nothing was getting done properly, and at the same time, nothing felt good. Then I started putting my phone in another room when I worked, and everything changed. Tasks that used to take me 2 hours were taking 30 minutes, not because I was suddenly smarter or more motivated, simply because I was actually doing them fully, from start to finish, without bleeding my attention in 10 different directions at once. And then when I picked up my phone after I finished my work, I actually really enjoy it without guilt. Work 100%, then phone 100%. This is the whole shift. That is it. If you're working from home, take your phone to a different room before you sit down. Not the same room with you on the other side, but a different room. your bedroom or your kitchen or your bathroom, somewhere that requires you to physically stand up and walk there and make a conscious decision to get your phone. Because that physical effort, that tiny moment of friction is enough to interrupt the automatic reaching habit your brain has spent years building. If you work in an office, let's say, phone goes in your bag, zip the bag, out of sign. If you're a student, exact same thing. Phone goes in your bag, zip the bag, out of sign. The goal is not to punish yourself. The goal is to make the automatic habit harder to do than the intentional one. And the goal is to create just enough friction that your brain has to make an actual decision instead of just reaching mindlessly. And I want you to know that your attention is the most valuable thing you have. More than your time, more than your money. Because everything else depends on where your attention goes. So protect it. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!